aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi. He says a beautiful thing which will console all of you. Kamosmi, I am kama. I am lust. Narayana says. Swamiji, Bhagavan in Gita has said, Kamosmi. Underline, learn it by heart, so that you can tell everybody. Kamosmi. Bhagavan honestly says, I am lust. Lust means most powerful, irresistible desire is called lust. For anything. Not necessarily be for women or sex. Lust for money, lust for power, lust for position, lust for wealth. It can be lust for anything. Lust for knowledge. Lust meaning irresistible, inordinate amount of desire for anything. I am that power behind desire. But Swamiji, desire is unspiritual, and you said that you are right. I am not desire, but I am the power behind it. Which desire, sir? Dharma aviruddha. Desire that is not contrary to a righteousness. That desire, it is me. There's a great prophet or a saint or a sage is coming out into the world, functioning in the world for the benefit of mankind. You and I can stand far away and say the fellow is working selfishly. He wants his ideas to be propagated. You can point out to him and say, it is desire that is prompting. Narayana says, yes, I am the desire in him. That desire that is coming out, that sankalpa shakti is coming out through him, is me alone. Why? Because he is using that desire only. Again, without contradicting the dharma or righteousness. Righteousness means good. Unrighteous actions means sin. You and I have got desire which creates only sins. Why? How can I become then righteous? Simple. Whenever you are acting and functioning in the world for the benefit of yourself, you are unrighteous. Full stop. But Swamiji, who must look after myself? Don't worry. If I don't look after myself, who will look after myself? You look after yourself and be unrighteous. Whenever I serve others and I function in the world for the benefit of others, I am doing noble, righteous actions. Isn't it? I plunge a dagger on some girl and I aimed at the heart, but it struck her stomach and I tore it. Bleeding, she died. That very day, at that very same time, in the operation theatre of the local hospital, a doctor opened the stomach of another girl of the same age. Appendicitis operation. Bleeding. She also died. One died in the operation theatre, another died on the roadside. I am hauled up. And culpable homicide not amounting to murder. I am punished. The doctor goes scotch-free unless some lawyer tries to take it up. Why? It is not the action. Action is the same. With that 10-inch knife, both the doctor and the man, what he did is the same. Punctured the belly of a living girl, bleeding, both of them died. The doctor, we congratulate him. Oh, doctor, thank you. You did your best. But what to do? Unfortunate. Why don't you come and tell me also? Swamiji, you did your best, but I am punished. Why? In the materialistic, secular law, if you read the law books, you will find that my intention, my motive was selfish. She was not saying yes to me. Finish. Rub her out. As an example for other girls. Everywhere I can say that. Do you know what happened to Mary? Because my intention was for self-gratification. My lust or my passions to satisfy. That was my motive. While the poor doctor had no such motive. His intention was to somehow cure the patient and put her on peace. He did all things that the science taught him, with all carefulness, and did it. But in spite of that, the patient collapsed. Whenever an act is done oriented with my own selfish gratification, it becomes an unrighteous act. Whenever actions are undertaken, the same action may be undertaken for the benefit of all others, it is a righteous act. In defending my home, or my community, or my country, if I take up the weapons and go as a soldier in the war, and I literally shoot to kill my own enemies, other human beings, it is not murder. 3 years, 4 years of continuous warfare. And I was in the front all the time. After 4 years, I come home. Can I say that 4 years regularly I was killing? Now 1 week I have not killed at all. I feel like killing somebody. Can you say that? Oh, bring the gun, darling, bring the gun. And go to the downtown and start shooting all over. There when I killed, I did not have an idea of that he is enemy number one and I will destroy him. I had no such, I don't know who it is. I did it with only one intention, to protect my country, to protect the hearth and home. I have not done any crime. I am really speaking, sacrificing myself, because I am facing equally the bullet to the other man, for the sake of defending the public or the women and the children of the community. But when I am going out and killing for a recreation, and the excuse is also very valid. 4 years government had trained me to do that, and then I felt like doing it. What is wrong in it? No. There it becomes for selfish entertainment. If this is understood, this is in one line said in a Mahabharata, Paropakarartham idam shariram. Idam shariram, this body, is meant for para upakara, for the service of others. You are given this body, you look after it, feed it, nurture it, nourish it, give exercises to it, keep it trim, that's your responsibility. But it is meant for, not yourself, for the service of others. You are the last. Your physical abilities, your emotional beauty, and your intellectual achievements are not meant for your self-aggrandizement. It is meant for the service of others. When in that attitude, when I function, every act of mine is dharmic, righteous. So any desire rising in my mind, in order to bring happiness to all others, in that kama, desire or lust, you shall see my beauty and glory at all times. Is it not? The anxiety of one who is serving the society or the community or the world, don't you see really divine? Who is that mother? Teresa. Now, not that I didn't remember the name. I want you to show you that. Mother, and all over the world, any part of the world, they will say immediately Teresa. Why? You are enchanted by it. What is it that frail woman doing? Is it not from morning till evening she is doing only for the service of others and not us? In her activity, don't you see a divine splendor? A Mahatma Gandhi, he did not do it for that he may become Prime Minister or and my son also must become Prime Minister. Nothing of that sort, is it? Think, not a trace of selfishness in it. What a splendor that life. How it enchants everybody. In Switzerland once, from airport to the other end of the town I had to cross, and the person who promised to meet me did not come. So I took a taxi and went. And as the taxi was going, every turn I was worried. Because the meter is going on, and that sound is more painful than any other sound. All the way he was asking, you are coming from, sir? And he doesn't know much English. You come, sir? India. Oh, Gandhiji! I said, yes, Gandhi. So then in order to forget this click, 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 I went on talking of Gandhiji. By Jove, by the time I reached the Sonnenberg, which is in the other end of the town, mind you, it is generally 30, 40, 30, 35 francs. The fellow will not accept it, mind you. He is an ordinary taxi. And he said that he is not the owner of it. 35 francs, he won't accept. Why? You are coming from Gandhiji's. What is his attraction for Gandhiji? He doesn't know the politics of India. He doesn't know the economics of him. Similarly, there are people in India respecting, revering Reverend King. These are the things where you find a multi-millionaire, nobody cares. He has acquired a lot. Who cares for them? Hughes, who knows about him? Multi-millionaire. On the other hand, an individual who is even your grandfather or your father has shown so much love for you in the early ages of your life, and he died away. I tell you, you will never forget him, and whenever you think of him, there is an aura about. Even your own father and mother, if they were full of desires and passions and only want to acquire and not to look after you, or they not made any sacrifices, I tell you, even though it's the blood of your blood, flesh of your flesh, you hate. That rascal, the more I forget about it, the better. Don't mention his name in my praises. Think. See, I'm trying to give you the idea to make you realize that it is not an idle claim. Dharma aviruddha kama, desire that is not contrary to righteousness, that very desire is me. That is why men of realization or the great prophets and masters, when they work in the world outside, Vedanta says, it is not that he is working, there is no selfishness or selfish desires in him, it is the flooding of the Narayana through that equipment. Because in him there is no desire for anything. Therefore all his actions are purely righteous. Those divine activities flood through him. It is not bringing out any discordant notes, and these discordant notes come only when it is obstructed by the lust and the greed and the selfishness of the individual. Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. So then when you are sitting on meditation, a desire comes in your mind. Don't feel that you are disturbed. Analyze it again. Is this desire coming out of selfishness? Then Mr. Devil is working in front of you. Is it unrighteous desire? The very strength in it is nothing but the higher. See that? How these thoughts can be made use of. Once it has gone into your understanding, they will come to help you in all moments of meditation, contemplation. The teacher points out,
ये चैव सात्विका भावाः ये चैव सात्विका भावाः राजसास्तामसाश्च ये राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि.
An average, intelligent, extroverted individual, as every one of us is, to an extent when we understand, when we look to think about it, we have no objection in accepting true the world of matter, the entire cosmos around me, they are indeed created by somebody other than us. Chalo. Because you and I did not create the sun, the moon, the stars, or the lightning, or the thunder, or the stars. Nothing we made. The mountains and the earth and the river and the... Okay. The plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the human kingdom. Yes, we did not create. True. So there must be somebody who created. Under very strict scientific laws, precise laws. And those laws are governed by the nature. So we generally call him as nature. What is that? Nature. Full stop. And from that word nature to the concept of God, a God created, a creator created. Okay, for purpose of discussion, let us accept it. We can accept it. Our intellect will accept. Now the question is, Swamiji, from him everything came was the declaration. I have no objection partially to accept that the outer world certainly is created by somebody else, because I entered into that world. I was not the cause for creating the sun, the moon, the stars, or the world of plurality. I admit. But, Swamiji, don't say that God created everything. My thoughts rising in me. My creative thinking. Where does God come into the picture? If you say that even the thoughts are coming from him, then he must be a very vulgar man. That is all my thought. Because my thoughts, 98% are really vulgar. And 2% good thoughts are really in spite of me. Some good thoughts sometimes come. So these are all from him. It's all my thought. I planned to come to the camp. I am staying here. I thought that... We cannot easily accept it, readily accept that thoughts are also rising from him. The teacher points out, Ye chaiva, whatever that is the thoughts that are arising from you, in all of us, not in you, all people, plant, animal and human, if there are thoughts there, all thought potential in the mind of creatures, all those thoughts fall under three types. The sattvic, the rajasic and the tamasic. It's a Greek word. Technology developed in India so much that the scientists had to use Greek words. Sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Now these three are three types of thoughts that fall, that into which fall all our thoughts. No heart or mind can think any thought which do not fall under, which cannot and will not fall under any one of these three. Something like the various families into which the plants have been classified, all the plant kingdom in the world has been classified. Just as the families into which all the living beings have been classified in zoology. Similarly, these great, mighty, subjective master scientists, they classified all thoughts potentially, that is potentially possible for the human mind to think, and they analyzed and they found that they fall under three categories. Sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Tamasic thoughts are dull, low, vicious, animalistic thoughts. Rajasic thoughts are thoughts that are prompted by great ambitions, ideas, brings out mental agitations. In the tamasic thoughts, there is no agitation. Because the entire idea of the tamasic indolent man is minimum work, maximum pay. Eat, sleep, and get up and eat. And what you are eating, it doesn't matter. Don't ask me to work that, don't do that. See? Welfare. Living on welfare, tamasic. So why don't you go and work at 3 days in a week? You can have a better standard of living. Never mind. I'm getting my food all right. Tamasic. The others are goaded by endless desires and ambitions and want to achieve great things, and therefore he is ever restless, planning and programming and trying to find out that project, that I must do, this I must do. That kind of mind is called a rajasic mind. Sattvic mind, quiet but alert. This is the mind that comes, or the quality, the state of the mind of poise and balance and quietude. Mind at creative poise. A painter standing with a brush, standing in front of the easel and pausing. Is it not there, the Indian Bhagavad, there are some musicians? What is he doing? Creative force. He's singing inside. And he knows the tone. And then he starts. There's a pause. Even writing a letter. You got the letter, you read it. Letter pad is there. Why are you cleaning the letter pad? The pen is ready. Why? The mind, you are trying to find out how to tell the lie so beautifully that creative. Poise. Did you go there? Ask your son. You will find a split moment he is waiting. Why? He is thinking in what way the lie should be told. If you say yes, then there will be kick. No, I never got it. That pause clearly shows that he is creative. Because did you go? Yes. Honest. There is no pause necessary. He is creating, thinking. The scientist discovered is only at that moment when the mind has come to that pause. That mind coming into a pause, which is not sleeping, but at the same time mind is not thinking of 1,000 things. There is a moment when you... And at such moments, you receive, as it were, ideas. This receptive mood of alert vigilance and quietude of the mind is called sattvic. When rajas is predominant in your mind is vikshipta, agitated. When tamas is in the tamas climate has come, you find even the most brilliant man cannot think. Monday or Tuesday, after dinner, and you are feeling already tired. A long day. And you are a great financier or a businessman, you know everything about. Your friend from the neighborhood comes and tries to explain to you a new project that he has conceived. And he is explaining everything. And then, after a time you will have to say that, excuse me, shall we discuss tomorrow? Why? I cannot grasp anything. That doesn't mean that he has no ability to grasp. He is tired. He is tamasic. Indolence or sleep has come and overwhelmed him, that he cannot think anymore. That climate of our bosom, when the intellect cannot think and correctly know what is happening, that mental mood or the climatic condition in your bosom is called tamas. What in English they will call as the good, mediocre, and the worst. Good, bad, or indifferent types of thoughts come in our bosom, and this is famous in the Sankhya philosophy, indicated as sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. The rajas, carefully now, I'm more subjective I'm going. Rajas, when the mind is agitated, the mind projects, isn't it? I want that, and then that must also be done, and this must be done, and then only I can get that and that. Projects. The more the mental agitations, in fact, the intellect is under the influence of tamas, becomes dull. Think of a moment when you are extremely agitated because of anger. Your thinking capacity goes. Too excited. The boarding, has been already announced, or the railway train is coming, and you are in the railway station with wife, 4 children, and 9 pieces of luggage. Railway station, the train is steamed in, you don't know whether you will get the seat or not, and you have got the wife, and the children are running in various directions. You must have an idea on where the children are. By the time you must count on the luggage all over, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, all right, 9. And then by the time she has taken one and ran, and then I see only 8. I was worried about 8, why this is one. And at that time, you go to him and say, hello, Mr. Gupta. Yes? Oh, good morning. You are worried about all this. You say that now. When you are going to Madras, are you going to Madras? Yes, yes, I am going to Madras. When you go to Madras, meet so and then tell him this message. It happens. In the airport, in the railway station. It has happened to me. Please, will you just... Oh, you won't say no, you are a decent man. Certainly, so simple. All the time I am calculating whether the porteress ran with the luggage or not. All the luggage has gone in, I count all of them in the room, and then children are all there, children also counted, and then you see, last item you see whether the wife also is inside. The train has started. When the train has started, what a relief! Now, do you think that I will be able to give the message? I have long ago forgotten. Before the train has started, I have forgotten. It's not my fault. I am honest. I really want to help him. But it never registered in my intellect. Because the mind was agitated. At that time, whatever you say, my intellect cannot grasp. Where the rajas has disturbed the mind, the intellect cannot grasp or perceive it. Tamas comes. When rajas and tamas are reduced, carefully, rajas, agitations of the mind and intellect is reduced. When the agitations of the mind is quietened, the intellect becomes sharp. It starts seeing more than what ordinarily it used to see. When the rajas and tamas is reduced, sattva increases. Sattvikata, or that creative quietude, is your nature. It is with you. But today it cannot express itself because rajas and tamas is disturbing. When rajas and tamas is quieted, the mind is quiet. In contemplation, prayers, meditation, etc., the intellect's ability to see ahead or clearly becomes intensified. To such an intellect, more and more Vedanta is expounded. He understands the entire mechanism. Thus his intellect becomes much more quiet. The mind becomes still more quiet. The meaning rajas and tamas are removed. When rajas and tamas are removed, sattva automatically increases. These three are three moods of the mind which create three different climatic, psychological climates in our bosom. It's a very deep psychological study of our great rishis. Not for the purpose of curing others. It's not for psychiatry. But it's a study positive to go beyond the mind. That was their anxiety. They found, but the thoughts, the texture of the thoughts, and the moods of the mind change under the influences of preponderance of these three climatic conditions in the bosom. All of us have got all the three.
पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते